Snape's loyalty. For years, fans argued that Severus Snape was secretly on Dumbledore's side, and Deathly Hallows proved they were exactly right. After Half-Blood Prince was published, dedicated fan sites like DumbledoreIsNotDead.com collected evidence that Dumbledore and Snape had prearranged the Astronomy Tower killing as part of a larger plan, rather than a simple betrayal. The truth was far more complex. In canon, Dumbledore is fatally cursed when he puts on Marvolo Gaunt's ring. Snape manages to contain the curse in Dumbledore's blackened hand, but he tells the headmaster that it will still kill him within about a year. Knowing he is doomed, Dumbledore asks Snape to kill him when the time comes, both to spare him a more painful death and to protect Draco Malfoy's soul from committing murder. The Prince's Tale chapter then reveals Snape's full backstory with Lily Evans, showing he defects from Voldemort after her life is endangered by the prophecy he reported, agreeing to protect her son in exchange for Dumbledore's help. His Doe Patronus matching Lily's, and Dumbledore's shocked question of, "After all this time?" answered with Snape's heartbreaking, "Always," confirmed long-running theories that Snape's actions were driven by enduring love for Lily. Fandom analyses highlight that many of Snape's earlier, so-called villainous acts, from counter-cursing Harry's broom in Sorcerer's Stone to warning the Order of the Phoenix about attacks, were reread as secret protection once the theory was confirmed in the final book. This is arguably the flagship theory that the fandom solved ahead of the text, reframing an apparent murder as a mercy killing and long con against Voldemort. Harry Horcrux. Long before Deathly Hallows, fans were already guessing that Harry himself was one of Voldemort's Horcruxes, and they turned out to be exactly right. By the mid-2000s, essays like The Accidental Horcrux argued that Voldemort had unintentionally turned Harry into a Horcrux when the killing curse rebounded at Godric's Hollow, noting Harry's scar pain, mental link to the Dark Lord, and shared abilities like speaking Parseltongue as evidence. Forum discussions and retrospectives confirm that after Half-Blood Prince, the theory that Harry is a Horcrux was extremely common in online fandom, with readers tying it to Dumbledore's mysterious gleam of triumph when he hears that Voldemort used Harry's blood in Goblet of Fire. In Deathly Hallows, Dumbledore fully confirms in the King's Cross limbo scene that a fragment of Voldemort's soul latched onto Harry the night his parents died, explaining his ability to speak Parseltongue and sense Voldemort's emotions. Rowling's later site FAQ expanded on this revelation, stating that when Voldemort kills Harry in the Forbidden Forest, the piece of soul inside Harry is finally destroyed, while Harry's own soul survives because of the blood tether and Lily's protection. Analyses of the prophecy and Dumbledore's dialogue point out that Dumbledore has strongly suspected Harry is carrying a Horcrux since at least Order of the Phoenix, but he deliberately withholds this from Harry until the very end. The theory also dovetailed with fan attempts to count all of Voldemort's Horcruxes: the diary, the ring, the locket, the cup, the diadem, and Nagini, leaving one slot that many suspected had to be Harry. This is the classic example of fans reverse engineering Rowling's endgame from scattered clues, turning what could have been a shocking twist into a slow burn deduction. R.A.B. Identity. The mysterious initials R.A.B. in Half-Blood Prince sent fans hunting for an identity, and they landed on Regulus Black, years before Book 7 confirmed it. At the end of Half-Blood Prince, Harry and Dumbledore retrieve a fake locket Horcrux containing a note signed R.A.B., promising Voldemort that the writer has stolen and will destroy the real Horcrux. Within weeks of publication, fan essays argued that R.A.B. must be Regulus Arcturus Black, Sirius's younger brother, based on his initials, Death Eater past, and hints scattered throughout Order of the Phoenix about the Black family history. Explainers describe how Regulus learns about Voldemort's Horcruxes through his house elf Kreacher, forces Kreacher to accompany him to the seaside cave, and swaps the real locket for the fake before being killed by the Inferi in the lake. Deathly Hallows confirms everything through Kreacher's tale at Grimmauld Place, which reveals Regulus's mission and shows that the real Slytherin's locket has been sitting in the Black household all along, hidden among the family's possessions. This is a textbook fandom triumph, where readers pieced together a character barely mentioned on page and correctly reconstructed his unseen final act of heroism based purely on initials and family connections. Ravenclaw Diadem. A dusty old tiara Harry hides in a junk-filled room turned out to be one of Voldemort's most important Horcruxes, just as sharp-eyed fans suspected. In Half-Blood Prince, Harry hides his annotated potions textbook in the Room of Requirement and marks the spot with a chipped bust, a wig, and a tarnished tiara, treating it as throwaway clutter among thousands of discarded objects. Fans immediately latched onto this tiara, hypothesizing it could be Rowena Ravenclaw's lost diadem, especially after Dumbledore suggests that Voldemort wanted relics from all 4 Hogwarts founders as Horcruxes. Readers predicted the old tiara would prove to be Ravenclaw's diadem, the only known relic of Rowena Ravenclaw, and long rumored to be missing from wizarding history. The Harry Potter lexicon details how the diadem grants wisdom, bears the inscription, "Wit beyond measure is man's greatest treasure," and was stolen by Helena Ravenclaw, then hidden in Albania, where Tom Riddle later finds it during his travels. In Deathly Hallows, Harry realizes the tiara he once perched on the stone bust is indeed the diadem, recovers it from the same room during the Battle of Hogwarts, and it is ultimately destroyed by fiend fire, conjured by Vincent Crabbe. This entry showcases how a small prop description in one book becomes crucial in another, and how readers train themselves to treat every background object as potential foreshadowing. Neville prophecy. Fans once argued that Neville Longbottom, not Harry Potter, might secretly be the Chosen One, and the books eventually confirm the prophecy did point to him too. The full prophecy in Order of the Phoenix describes a child born as the 7th month dies, to parents who have thrice defied Voldemort, whom the Dark Lord will mark as his equal. Analysis pieces note that even before Deathly Hallows, readers realized this description fit both Harry Potter and Neville Longbottom, whose parents were also Order of the Phoenix members, tortured to insanity by Bellatrix Lestrange and other Death Eaters using the Cruciatus curse. J.K. Rowling's commentary explains that one of Voldemort's followers only heard part of the prophecy from Severus Snape, leaving two candidates, Harry and Neville, and that Voldemort's choice to target Harry is what actually marks him as the Chosen One. Fandom explainers stress that the prophecy itself could have been fulfilled by either boy, and it was only Voldemort's decision that made Harry the focal point of the war. Later coverage highlights that Neville was also the Chosen One in spirit, especially once Neville kills Nagini, the final Horcrux, during the Battle of Hogwarts using the Sword of Gryffindor. Neville's near miss as the Chosen One reframes him from comic relief sidekick to alternate protagonist, showing how fate, choice, and villain paranoia shaped the story's hero. By the way, if you're enjoying this so far, I post videos like this all the time. Subscribing would really help out. Trio romances. Before the saga ended, fans fiercely debated who Hermione and Harry would end up with, and those betting on Ron and Hermione plus Harry and Ginny largely got exactly what they wanted. Shipping wars raged over whether Hermione would end up with Ron Weasley or Harry Potter, with many fans arguing that her bickering chemistry with Ron pointed to an eventual romance rather than mere friendship. Half-Blood Prince delivers clear confirmation when Hermione becomes jealous of Ron's relationship with Lavender Brown, and the pair finally share a decisive kiss during the Battle of Hogwarts after Ron worries about the house elves trapped in the castle kitchens. The same book also develops Harry's feelings for Ginny Weasley as he becomes overcome with jealousy seeing her kiss Dean Thomas, and their first kiss follows Gryffindor's Quidditch Cup victory after Harry returns from detention with Professor Snape. The epilogue in Deathly Hallows cements both theories, showing Harry married to Ginny with 3 children named James Sirius, Albus Severus, and Lily Luna, and Ron married to Hermione with 2 children named Rose and Hugo, ending years of fandom speculation about the core trio's romantic futures. While not as dramatic as Horcrux theories, these ships show how fans correctly read long-term character arcs and interpersonal dynamics before the final books confirmed them. Crookshanks' heritage. Readers always suspected Hermione's grumpy cat wasn't entirely normal, and official canon eventually agreed with their instincts. In Prisoner of Azkaban, Crookshanks is described as a large ginger cat with a squashed face and bottle-brush tail, who immediately attacks Ron's rat Scabbers with unusual persistence, later revealed to be the animagus form of traitor Peter Pettigrew. Fans speculated Crookshanks might be a magical creature called a Kneazle, or part Kneazle, a species known for detecting unsavory or untrustworthy people and guiding their owners away from danger. Official Wizarding World reference materials now explicitly describe Crookshanks as notably half Kneazle, crediting his intelligence and ability to spot suspicious characters like Pettigrew, hiding in plain sight for over a decade. This is a fun, low-stakes example where fandom intuition about a side character's true nature lined up perfectly with later canon confirmations in reference materials. King's Cross. That horrifying, flayed, baby-like creature Harry sees at King's Cross in Deathly Hallows inspired countless theories, and Rowling eventually confirmed the bleakest one. In the King's Cross chapter, Harry finds himself in a misty, white version of King's Cross Station after Voldemort seemingly kills him in the Forbidden Forest, where he sees a mutilated, child-sized creature whimpering under a bench in apparent agony. The books and films never explicitly label the creature, prompting fans to speculate it was a fragment of Voldemort's soul, possibly the piece that had been living parasitically inside Harry for over 16 years. A widely cited Pottermore FAQ answer has Rowling state that the creature is the last piece of soul Voldemort possesses, stunted and maimed by his crimes and the systematic destruction of his Horcruxes throughout the series. Rowling explains that when Voldemort cast the killing curse on Harry in the forest, Both wizards' souls arrive in this limbo space, but only the parasitic fragment in Harry is destroyed, leaving that grotesque remnant behind as a visual representation of Voldemort's spiritual ruin. This theory's confirmation gave fans a concrete, chilling image of what Voldemort's obsession with immortality and murder had done to his soul. Dumbledore death. One of the wildest symbolic theories claims Albus Dumbledore secretly represents death from the tale of the three brothers, and Rowling has called it her favorite fan theory. The fan theory maps the Deathly Hallows fairy tale onto the main story's structure. Voldemort functions as the first brother, seeking the Elder Wand and power over death. Severus Snape represents the second brother, obsessed with resurrecting a lost love. And Harry embodies the third brother, who greets death as an old friend and accepts mortality. In this reading, Dumbledore functions as death itself throughout the narrative, having possessed all three Hallows at various points in his life, and meeting Harry in the King's Cross limbo, greeting him like an old friend and offering him the choice to move on or return to life. Rowling was asked on Twitter what her favorite fan theory was, and replied that it was Dumbledore as death, calling it a beautiful theory that fits the story's thematic structure. Articles summarizing the exchange emphasized that while this remains a symbolic reading rather than literal plot fact, Rowling's enthusiastic endorsement effectively canonizes it as an intentional layer of meaning woven throughout the final book. This entry shows a different kind of true theory, one focused on symbolic structure and literary interpretation rather than plot mechanics. Dumbledore sexuality. Long before Rowling said it out loud, parts of the fandom already suspected that Hogwarts' greatest headmaster was gay, based on textual clues. Fans had speculated about Albus Dumbledore's sexuality for years, based on his lifelong bachelor status and his intense, complicated history with dark wizard Gellert Grindelwald, whom he defeated in their famous duel of 1945. In October 2007, at a Carnegie Hall question and answer session after Deathly Hallows was published, Rowling responded to a question about whether Dumbledore ever found true love by saying she always thought Dumbledore is gay, explaining he had fallen deeply in love with Grindelwald in his youth. Reports described the audience gasping and then applauding the revelation, with Rowling adding that this love made Dumbledore's later duel with Grindelwald even more personally tragic and morally complex. Subsequent coverage notes that Rowling even corrected a Half-Blood Prince script draft that implied Dumbledore had once been attracted to a woman, writing in the margin that Dumbledore is gay, confirming she had held this characterization in mind throughout the writing process. This theory's confirmation illustrates how readers inferred representation from characterization and backstory, and how author commentary can retroactively validate fan readings even when the original books stay implicit about sexuality. If you found this valuable, subscribe so you never miss new content. Appreciate you watching,